Greetings everyone, Rob Chassner here. The purpose of this video, this training video, is to review the notice of claim private title numbers, the procedure on how to secure those numbers. So if you're watching this video, it's because likely you're a client and you have been given copies of the examples that I'm reviewing, as well as a Word document that you could use for your own procedure and then edit the same. So the first document we're going to go over is going to be the actual document, Notice of Claim Private Title Numbers, and then it says a registered mail number with a -1 suffix number sequentially through and including that same registered mail number -99. Okay, so this document, the purpose of this document is to reserve title numbers for trusts that you're going to be using in equity. So the first thing I want to cover is that anything that is sent to you, whether it's an obligation, an offer of obligation, a bank account, your passport, your driver's license, your bank accounts, anything like that, your credit cards, they're all going to have your all capital letter name. Each one of those accounts, even a court case, they all have a specific number attached to them. The credit card's going to have a specific number to you. Your bank account's going to have a specific number for you, a court case, etc. Well, those are title numbers. And the reason they have title numbers is because those obligations, those accounts, those court cases, all of those are implied trusts. Now, the implication of those implied trusts are that you, the one with that all capital letter name on it, you are the trustee in the trust relationship, which means you are the liable party. And the implication, additional one, is that they are the beneficiaries, the ones who issued, the party or the agency who issued that account. And so that's an implied trust. And so in order to come out from underneath the responsibility, that may not be the right word, the liability of being named or implied or implicated that you're the trustee or the liable party in this implied trust arrangement, the first thing you have to do is acknowledge and accept the trust arrangement as the grantee. All right, and so there is a document specific to that. You acknowledge and accept that trust arrangement. There's an additional document, and these documents are not going to be covered on this video training, but this is all part of the next step. But I want to give background on why you're using title numbers. The next step would be to take that, now that you're the grantee, you would come back as the grantor and put that account, that obligation, that court case, you would deposit it on special deposit into a new trust with a new title number. That has to do with what we're talking about today, these registered mail numbers with the sequential numbers after the suffix numbers. And you put it on special deposit as the grantor, settlor, and the sole beneficiary of the trust. You need to create a trust with your all capital letter name, and that's not part of this training, but nevertheless, that's the purpose of that. And then the other document you'd want to do is you'd want to regarding the implication of you being the trustee, you want to disclaim the trusteeship. No trust can force a party to be the trustee. And so if you don't disclaim it, then you're accepting that trusteeship and the obligation to to the liability that comes with that. All right. Now, the notice of claim private title number, the purpose again is so that we can have some specific and unique sequential numbers that we can use for our own trusts that are not going to be implied trusts, but they're going to be express trusts. Those are trusts that will be written and filed into the public record. And so the verbiage on this document is very simple. It's discussing, it says this is actual and constructive public notice that a registered equitable claim by, and that would be you, the private citizen, the grantee of the private property, now coming as grantor of the same, and discussing that you're the holder and have all the rights and the owner to these non-negotiable private title numbers. So that's the purpose of this document, is to file in the public record either 99 of these sequentially or 999 of them. I do 99 at a time, and then if I want to do more, then I can just send myself another registered mail package. All right, so you'll notice that there's a reference to a dollar bill, currency. I put a dollar bill in an envelope, and I mail that to myself in this registered mail package. And I can, again, I'll describe the reasons for that when we get to that point, but that's what it's referencing. And then you sign it as the grantor, or you autograph it as the grantor. And you might notice when you see this document, I put an ellipsis after my signature, which is the 3 dots, which essentially protects you to add something later that might have been not added that you needed. Notice that this document is all on the upper half of the page, and the bottom half of the page is blank. That is intentional, because when you issue a new title number for a set-off package, or to protect yourself in your banking accounts and so forth, or your credit card accounts, and you want to turn them from an implied trust into an express trust, there's going to be an endorsement that you want to put on the lower half of this page, claiming that particular title number and the suffix number that's unique to that particular account. The second page is just showing a USPS.com tracking as to when this package was received. Now, I do have taped to the bottom of this page the registered mail receipt and the return receipt. And I do want to go over the nuances of that. So this is the registered mail receipt. You can get these. And then, of course, this is registered mail, the red and white stickers. Now, you'll notice I've got a roll of 100 of them. Actually, I have 2 rolls of 100. I'll just give you a heads up. Some of the postal workers, when you go in there and ask for registered mail to take home to prepare documents, they're going to tell you that they're not permitted to have that registered mail receipt leave the campus of the post office. There is nowhere inside of their manual that says that. And so you either have to be bold and ask to speak to their supervisor until you get all the way up to the Postmaster General. Somebody will have enough information to know that these registered mail receipts can leave the campus, and you can see that I got them in rolls of 100 whenever I want them. If they say no, you can either go to a different post office, or you can climb the ladder of chain of command until you find someone who knows what the heck they're doing. Now let's go over the nuances of this document here. First of all, you can see it says from and to. Well, if you don't have 2 different addresses, you can just put your address to your own address and mail it to yourself. That's perfectly fine. You have to declare a value. There's a place to declare value. I'm not sure you can see that, but it's right here. And then there's a box, an official box. It says official use. Most people don't know this. It's not for the post office. It's for you. So I put $1 as the value. And then here I put one private lawful dollar or currency. And then I put the serial number of that dollar bill that I put inside my envelope. I think this is important. And so you might consider, again, I'm not giving advice here, but you might consider doing the same. Well, that reminds me, I didn't do any disclaimer, and so anyone who's watching this, you're watching this constitutes your consent and agreement that I do not give any kind of advice at all. I don't give legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I don't give accounting advice. I'm not an accountant. I don't give any advice at all. I provide educational materials and document resources, and you're watching this with and using anything that you see on here is at your own risk and constitutes your agreement that this is education and entertainment only and not any advice. Thank you for your compliance in that. All right, the other document we want to talk about is this return receipt, this light green return receipt. And so you'll notice when you get a copy of an example, you'll notice that in Section 1, you're addressing it to yourself. Section 2, you're going to put the registered mail number that you're using, this ticket that you're using, that you're going to pay for with stamps, and use that as your new title numbers with suffix numbers after it. So that would be the registered mail number that you're using it. And then in Section A, you can see that it says agent or addressee. I add a little box that says grantee without recourse, so that when I sign it, I don't forget to put that. In Section D, I put private trust registrations. In Section 3, of course, you can figure that out. Registered mail, return receipt. That's really all about that. Let's get to the envelope. The envelope, it's from you and it's to you. Now, I used just a regular business size 8.5. I forget, maybe an 8 by 10 or 10 inch, whatever, regular envelope. You can use a larger envelope, but in the small town where I live, they only have small denomination stamps, $1 and $2 stamps. They don't have $5 or $10 stamps. And so if this registered mail package costs, let's say, $13 or $14 to mail to yourself, you can buy $13 or $14 worth of stamps, because in my town there's only small stamps, the whole front of the envelope on the side, right, top, and bottom was filled with stamps. But you can use larger stamps if you want to. I also had 3 1-cent stamps, and I canceled them, dated them, and signed across them. And I'll go into more detail on that when any of my clients speak to me. But the key ingredient here is that you've got the registered mail sticker, you've got stamps, not meter, but stamps, and you're essentially giving full consideration to buy that registered mail number that's unique to you, that you're sending to yourself. And once you postmark it and they cancel that, the transaction is complete, and you now own that registered mail number. And when you add suffix numbers to it, it gives you a series of numbers that are uniquely yours that you can use for your trust work, using trust and equity that will change those implied trusts that you're offered and bound to by your behavior in commerce, and change that to from implied trust to express trusts. Also, you'll notice when you see my copies of my documents that oftentimes I'll cancel the $14 or $15 worth of stamps as well, and leave sufficient room for the post office to put their cancellation on it. But in any event, I do the 3 1-cent stamps, cancel those by crossing through it, initialing it, and dating it. And if they ask you any questions about it, you can just say it's artwork and don't cover it up with the stamps. Leave those exposed. And I think as far as procedure goes, there's nothing else to discuss. That's the procedure. You mail it to yourself, you sign the green card. Once you get the green card back of the return receipt, in my opinion, and this is what I do, I print out from USPS.com showing that it's been delivered and when. I attach my white square registered mail receipt and my green, light green return receipt to that document. So now it's an 8.5 by 11 document where you won't lose those little pieces in your file, and make that part of your file. All right, I hope this has been helpful and informative. And if you have any questions, you can email or call me. Thank you.